So bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee. Yes, I know it's a Chrysler. Anyway, we've got our lovely Chrysler Crossfire in the garage on the ramp. We're going to take a look at this little car today. It's sat in our yard for a little while and nobody's showed any interest in it. And I thought, come on, this is like a collector's car now. Chrysler Crossfire, it's a little sports car, two-seater, V6 engine, which will open the bonnet shortly. So anyway, I reckon let's have a little look at the controls and what this car's got inside it, and then we'll go underneath and under the bonnet and have a good look around it and see if it's any bloody good. So first off, look at that lovely steering wheel. Does the horn work? Yes, it does. That's a good sign. Does the cooling fan work and the air conditioning, by the way? The little red, oh, I can tell you something. Oh, I can feel it already. Let's put the heater down to cold. Oh yes, definitely. So the air conditioning works fine. Ample size glove box. Little mirrors on your sun visors. Nice little touch. Heated rear screen. Recirculation on the air. Does the stereo work? Oh, it's got Chrysler come up on it. Yep, that works. I'll tell you what this has got, which is very nice. You've got heated seats here. You can do it full heat or half heat or off. And look at that, leather seats. Like two-tone leather seats. They're not ripped or nothing, they're all in one piece. This is a 5-speed, I believe. No, it's a 6-speed. 6-speed manual transmission. Handbrake. That feels very good. What else have we got? Oh, we can switch our traction control on and off. Very nice. Central locking, I'm going to come to that. This car has a few problems, and one of them is the central locking doesn't work. But there's a reason for that, and I know what the reason is. It's just that we can't do a great deal about it, but I'll cover that shortly. But it looks very nice in here. The dashboard's not bad. Bit of old grey plastic is a bit boring on the bottom half, but at least the top half is a bit textured as well. Looks a lot better. It's quite nice in here actually. I feel quite comfortable in this driver's seat, and the instrument cluster looks good. You also have cruise control here. Look at that. Our windscreen washers, they work. Indicators. Oh yes, and our headlight switch is down there. You should have electric windows on this, which is on our center console. Yep, they work. Very nice. Right, I shall step out. Well, the first thing to notice is this stainless steel kick plate with Crossfire wrote on it. I think that's a very nice little touch. It shows they've gone into a little bit of detail when they designed this car. I'm not so sure about the door panels. They're okay, but a bit bland. Although the black, grey and chrome, it does seem to fit. How does this door shut? I would say there's a little bit of a rattle, but not bad. At least it all lines up. When you look at all the lines, that's what you've got to be looking for, the main thing. Make sure it's not been in an accident, things like that. Petrol cap. Bad. It's quite a nice colour as well. And it's all like, it's all one colour, if you know what I mean. It's not different shades of the same colour. Oh, there's the price tag in the boot, $2,995. No spare wheel with this car. All you basically get is a jack and wheel brace. There you go. As I said on my last car we went through, they're doing away with spare wheels these days. but you've got ample room in the boot anyway. I'm sure you can fit your golf clubs in there. Anyway, before I shut the boot, I did mention earlier we had a problem with central locking. Well, under this right hand side covering here in the boot, there's what's called a central locking control unit. It also operates by vacuum and it's faulty. And we got another unit for this car, but unfortunately we were unable to program the keys to it or get it to work, and we believe the unit we got was faulty. We cannot find another one. Even if we go to Chrysler themselves, they basically told us, sorry, the car is too old and we won't get involved in that. So we were kind of stuck. So we don't really know what to do about it. So as things stand at the moment, the central locking does not work, and also we can't fix the actual keys to make them work with this unit, even if we had another unit, because the keys have to be programmed to this electronic unit. So that's about where we stand at the moment. Look at that exhaust, twin exhaust. Looks pretty cool, right? Yep, cheers. That's it, shut the door. There. I'll tell you what, it's well built. It's certainly well built. Look at that, it's got like a little net pocket down here by your centre console as well. Airbags. I'm not sure if it's got airbags in the roof. I don't think it has, but it's certainly got an airbag in the steering wheel and on the passenger side of the dash. Electric mirrors there in the centre console as well. And I'll tell you one thing this does have. I shall switch the ignition on. By the way, this has 103,000 miles on the clock. But what we're looking at is this little button here, just here. How cool is that? Little spoiler. Okay, let's look underneath the bonnet. But I do like them lines actually. I do like the lines on that bonnet. They kind of give it a bit of style, a bit of viva-voom. Well, here she is, the power unit. As much as I can really tell you, I was going to lift this cover off. I'm sure it does actually lift off. I don't think I'll go too far into it. That hose comes out the way. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, both of these pipes have to come off. And then the whole flipping lot lifts off. That is actually quite heavy for an engine cover, but there's quite a bit to it. That is a Mercedes-Benz 3-litre V6 engine. So it's quite a common engine, fitted in many Mercedes-Benz cars. There you go. At least you can get to the battery under the bonnet. Great big fuse box next to it. There's your coil packs. There is our paper element oil filter. There's the old auxiliary belt. At least you can get to that quite easily. I should think there's quite a few of yous out there that know a fair old bit about these Merc engines. Not a great deal to really talk about under it apart from that. I'll check the coolant level. These don't have a float in them like the BMW I done last week has, but I can see there's plenty of coolant in there. And I guess we should check the engine oil as well. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. I would like to give you more information about certain problems this engine may have. For the very fact that I don't even work on these engines, I don't know. I simply do not know. If there's a problem on this engine, I would have to look it up just like everybody else. But on first inspection, everything looks good. I think I'll put this cover back on, start it up and see what it sounds like. Well, it sounds all very nice. It actually does sound like a nice quiet V6 engine. No rattles, no knocks, no whining noises. I have heard the power steering pumps can be troublesome. I'll give it a quick rev, just to make sure. Sounds good. Cool, they look nice. Woo! Look at them indicators on the front wings, or front bumper should I say. The headlights could probably do with a little bit of a polish up. They're not too bad, mind you. I quite like it. It's not a bad looking car. Should we go underneath? Right then, going in. What will we find? I don't know. There is a like steady bar that runs from your front subframe to the chassis. I don't know why that is on a hard top. It's obviously strengthening for some reason or other. There is your catalytic converter with our lambda sensor. That would be our after the cat lambda sensor, and there'll be one either side. There'll be lambda sensors further up as well. Because it's a V6, we've got like these twin exhaust downpipes. And oh, I have not seen a steering box in a bloody long time. So now I have, it has been a long time. I'm thinking back to like Vauxhall Carltons now and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember the old steering boxes. You'd get a lot of slop in steering boxes when they wear out. Not the best of steering systems, I have to say. Anyway, this is like wishbone and spring suspension. There's our shock absorber, our track arms. Everything looks okay. Brake pads look good. The anti-roll bar is exactly what you would find in like a Merc E-Class. In actual fact, I think this whole car is basically a Mercedes E-Class or similar. It's very familiar. In fact, if anybody out there has a Mercedes and you've looked underneath your car, this will look very familiar indeed. Anyway, nothing to really see there. There's our gearbox, a little bit damp right at the very front, but nothing dripping. Oh, I see, there's a bracket on the exhaust this side, but that side, it's gone. Although yeah, it's pretty solid, it's not going anywhere. I shouldn't think that's going to make a whole lot of difference. I shall run down the actual floor plan, make sure we don't have any holes. However, you can see they've got plastic panels which run over your sills. So I guess if there was any rot, you're not really going to see them because this is all plastic. There's your jacking points. They've got these rubber blocks, the same as what BMWs have. There's the front one. That's where you jack the car up. But everything's looking fine. Nothing to write home at the minute. Rear suspension arms. You've got to pay particular attention to a lot of these pressed steel arms. I've actually had these snap in the past, completely snap off. So it's very wise to have a good examination of them, especially like your flexible brake hoses, and also on these I say Chrysler Crossfire, but it's a Merc. The brake pipes, the metal brake pipes, where they come off the top of the brake hoses and they go along the back axle right up there. You've got to keep an eye on them because they do get very rusty. I know this from looking at Mercedes-Benz cars. And there's our exhaust. It's a single box with a twin outlet with our little chrome bits on the end. Quite snazzy though to look at. Yeah, from everything I can see of the chassis, the springs, the suspension arms, the shocks, a lot of it I would say is pretty original, but nothing to actually say that's broken or that's completely rotted out or that needs changing. The chassis and body that I can see at the minute, everything looks intact. Fuel pipes look good. I've seen many a fuel pipe that's completely rotten to hell. But these are looking very good indeed. There's our handbrake cable with an adjuster. And it looks like, oh, it's a bolt. I thought it was a nut that was loose. It's a bolt you adjust there. All our brake pipes are good at the back. So no, we've got some dry leaves here, hitching a lift. Let's come out this side, have a quick look. Nope, that looks good. So no, nothing to shout and jump up and down about, nothing to do cartwheels across the floor. It's all looking very nice. So I think I'll jack the front end up and we'll see if we've got any play in these ball joints. Yeah, what we've been meaning to say all this time is what this car probably is an American version of a Mercedes SLK. They look pretty similar anyway in design, and certainly the chassis, suspension and everything else is all basically Mercedes. But anyway, I'm going to show you something here. When we jack the front wheels up on this particular type of suspension, we need to put the actual jack underneath the bottom suspension arms. You don't, because a lot of cars with McPherson struts, you would jack it up on the body and let suspension hang. But on these, you don't let suspension hang. You have to jack it up on the actual suspension arms right there. Nice big 18-inch wheels on this car. They do look pretty impressive. Getting back to the point, to check suspension, you have to put a bar literally between the ramp and the tyre and lift the bar up. That way you'll get the play in the bottom ball joint. I'll have another look at that when we're underneath. But if I find anything, I'll be letting you know. Plenty of tread on the old tyre though. That is a good one. I'm going to show you something here which might be of interest, just in case you didn't know. When you've got a steering box system, if you've got the wheel turned out like it is now, and you rock the wheel, you'll notice you'll get a bit of play in it. I don't know whether you can really see this, but the wheel kind of like, if I rock the wheel's going like that. There's that amount of play in it, like that. And you may think, oh, well, there's something wrong there. But what you have to do is turn the wheel straight again. Then you'll find if you try to rock the wheel, there'll be no play in it. It's just the way the steering box is in the linkage system as well. So you've got to be careful what you're looking at and be very sort of like, put your bar in every place on the suspension you can find to actually check the ball joints and all the bushes and all that, because you don't want to sort of like say there's a fault when there actually isn't nothing wrong with it. Now I'm really not sure whether you're actually going to see this, but I'm going to position my lever bar underneath the tyre and I'm going to rock the wheel up and down like so, okay? But on that bottom ball joint just there, look just here, and if I can hold this camera steady, you may just see a tiny bit of play. Probably not, it's very minute. But generally speaking, that's how you would check the ball joints on these cars. And Mercedes would say they do accept a small amount of play in these bottom ball joints. However, It's guess it's up to you to determine how much is a small amount and how much is too much, because quite often the case is you can get a serious amount of up and down movement just here, and if that's the case then it's time to replace the ball joint. There is ever such a small amount in this one, but you're probably not seeing it. The other side I've already looked at and there's nothing in that one, so this one's doing pretty well. Apart from that, everything else, coil springs are all in one place, one piece should I say. I cannot see anything else wrong. I've checked the inner bushes on the front suspension arms, all the bushes look good, so no problem at the moment. I'm quite impressed with this car. I was actually expecting to actually find at least one or two ball joints gone, but no, they're all good. Well, the rear end is pretty much the same as the front end. It does have 4 very, very good tyres on it. Wheel rims, I know on BMWs, BMW would never admit this, but they do. They tend to crack on the rims and then the tyres go down. So it's always a good idea to have a good examination of them rims. You never know, especially on a rim like this size, 18 inch. But no, I'm not seeing anything wrong on the rear at all. All looking very good indeed. No limited slip differential. If it had a limited slip, it would be pretty difficult to turn that. It'd be hard to turn that, and once I turn it, the other wheel would turn at the same time in the opposite direction. So you could probably do some pretty good wheel spins in this car. With a limited slip, that would be a bit difficult. But no, can't fault it at the minute. It's all looking very good. I'm pretty sure this was pretty much past an MOT. So that's a good thing. That's without going down the other MOT station and actually checking the emissions and putting it on the rolling road and checking the actual brakes are working as they should be, because we're not going to know that just on the ramp. So that is something that would have to be dealt with later. I'm going to have to correct myself here, because I'm sure I just said these are 18-inch wheels at the back, and they're not. These are 255 35 by 19s at the back, and they're obviously quite wider than what they are on the front, because the fronts are 225 40 by 18. I just looked at the back wheel and I thought, flipping heck, that's quite wide. That's a lot wider than what the front wheel is. So yeah, I guess there are certain cars, BMW 7 Series springs to mind, where they have wider wheels at the back than what they do at the front. Not bad. I'll tell you what it does need. It needs a good old blast down the road. Do you know why? Let me tell you why. When it's been sat on that sales lot for as long as it has, all the brake discs have gone rusty. The brake pads are like brand new, but the discs are rusty. So I'm needing to get the rust off the discs. So I'm going to drive it down the road and actually clear it up. Righto then, before I grab Monica, who is going to give this lovely car a little drive, I'm going to show you something else that I'm working on right now. Here we are. It's a Voxal Astra 1800 Ecotec engine, and for all yous out there who know a bit about your Voxals, behind the exhaust manifold, which I have removed, there is an oil cooler which sits right about here. And you can guess why I've removed that oil cooler, can't you? Because the actual header tank, which will sit here, was full of oil. And I'm going to show you exactly why it's full of oil. So here's the bits I've removed from the Astra. The expansion bottle, that should be like almost clear, but it's turned yellow. It's turned yellow because it's had so much oil in it. I've tried cleaning it out with degreaser and that. I may have to replace that tank. There's the manifold. That has to be removed anyway, because what's behind the manifold is this entire oil filter housing assembly, complete with oil cooler. Now this oil cooler bolts on like a load of little torque screws, bolts it on. I've removed the oil cooler because here is what's happening. The water pump sits here, the coolant goes through this pipe and around to your thermostat housing, and the water comes through here. But it also, you've got oil in this part here. And what's happening, this rubber seal, over time, where the heat from the engine has heated the seal up and it's cooled down numerous times, the seal has become like rigid and flattened, more flattened than anything. So the water, the coolant in the engine, can actually pass the seal and enter into the oil channel part. And that's what's happening. You've got oil now mixing with the water. So I should imagine it's the oil pressure actually going into the water that's doing it, and obviously the expansion bottle was filled up with bloody oil. So what I have to do is replace this seal. This is one big seal here. There's another seal here and here for your oil, and there's also little seals that go on the end which go onto your like coolant and water pump. They have to be replaced as well. There's also another little pipe which comes out here, which has to be, it's got little seals that have to be replaced. But that's basically the long and the short of it. This is the reason why the oil and water are mixing and you're getting oil in the coolant. The actual oil cooler itself, that can have a fracture in it. I don't know, but I'm going to replace this anyway. I get the feeling that it's more the seals are the problem than anything, and this may well be okay, but I'm not going to take the chance. I'm just going to replace it anyway. How's it going, Monty?
Good.
Excellent. Are you ready for your road test?
Of course.
You know that leather jacket is kind of fitting for that car.
Is it?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Well, here we are. You fancy yourself as a Yankee Doodle dandy? Now Monica, this is a V6 3.2 litre engine.
Okay.
It's non-turbo, so it's not going to be that quick, but it's not bad. I pointed out earlier, this car, although it's a Chrysler Crossfire and it's kind of American,
Yeah.
it's almost based on what you would call the Mercedes SLK. Them little two-door sports cars, and they're pretty like nice looking cars, and I think this car is pretty similar. Anyway, feel free to put your foot down a little bit, see how the engine goes. Whoa, it's not bad at all.
No, sitting well.
What is the good news about this car? Do you know any? It's ULEZ compliant, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. It is indeed.
So they will not like that very much. So if you want to go to London,
feel free to take this one.
Yeah, you haven't got to pay the ridiculous charge down there. But there is always a downside, isn't there? There's always got to be a trade-off, and that's going to be the road tax.
Yeah, that one is a little bit pricey.
Do you know how much that would be?
About £395 for the year.
Well, say £400 a year.
Yeah,
I don't suppose that's too bad, really.
But I guess not for free lease engine.
And do you know who would want to buy this car?
People that love classics, I don't know.
You're probably right there. I think someone who's kind of a specialist, someone who's actually into these type of cars.
Yeah.
A bit of a niche market, I reckon.
Yeah, there's not that many. Well, at least I haven't seen many on the road.
No, this is the only second one I've ever seen around here. And if you remember rightly, this was not the exact car, it was a different one, but you done an oil change on one of these cars.
I was gonna say, do you remember my oil change? Which car was it?
Yep, it was one of these. Same colour as well, but not the same car.
No. There you go.
Well, we got back in one piece.
We got one in back piece and very quick, isn't it?
What do you think to it? Do you like it?
It's alright.
It's not bad. I quite like it. I could sort of like relax in this. You've got a nice engine. You can go on long journeys. You can put your foot down. It's got the power when you need it.
Yeah, look at that. It's got heated seats.
Yep, heated seats, air conditioning, and it all works. So does the stereo.
Yeah.
I'm well impressed. But yeah, it's one of those cars that, you know, if you're a person that likes these cars and you want a little project, well, here it is.
Go for it.
I mean, I'm expecting the phone to be ringing off the hook, you know. Be ready for the rush of people falling over each other trying to buy this.
Cannot wait. I might be the one taking it for test drives for them.
Yeah. But I'll say, if anybody does want to come down and have a look at this car, then feel free. And I'm sure you are very open to offers on this, because I have pointed out it does have a few electrical problems, which we probably could sort them out if we really went into it. But it's kind of hard work trying to find the parts for these cars. So if we were in America, it'd probably be a different story. But over here, it's getting more difficult to find what we need to fix this. Electrical items, that is. So I'm sure you'll do a good deal if someone wants to make you an offer.
I think so. I think we could work something out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Did you know we can also raise the spoiler at the back?
I did show the people that little button there raises a little spoiler at the back.
Very cool, isn't it?
It is. That's when you, I guess that's when you really want to put your foot down and give it some.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else which I did notice, I didn't point out earlier. If you're just driving, if you have that spoiler up and you're driving along,
yeah,
and you're not actually, the car's not needing it, it will put it back in automatically.
Very smart.
Yeah.
With the electric seats
yes.
as well.
I didn't even point that out. It's fully
No,
electric
I didn't.
seats.
Full
And they're comfortable.
Yeah, they are. Well,
Well, you
I
can.
think
Yep.
it's a good car to buy.
Yep, I like it as well. So, Molly, does it have your seal of approval?
I think so. I think I'll give it. I'll give it one.
Well, thank you very much for that little road test.
You're welcome. Anytime.
I guess I'll go in the garage and give my final thought on this, and then we'll end the video.
Yeah, sounds good.
Brilliant. Cheers, Molly.
You're welcome.
Oh, hang on a minute, Molly. I just need you over the bonnet for the thumbnail.
Or we can just sit and
There we go. Here we go, folks. We have the thumbnail for the video now. I actually really do like this car. Unfortunately, because of the electrical problems, number one with the keys and the central locking, and also the indicators, which are two separate electrical units which need to be sorted out, it's too much for us to get involved in, and we have looked, and it's become a problem trying to find the parts or source the parts for this car and have people to program these units in. So I guess whoever would be interested in a car like this would be someone who knows a little bit about how to get these things sorted out. Maybe they've got someone in America who can import parts, and you've got someone who can program and all that sort of thing. But apart from that, it's a great car. So somebody will buy it, I'm sure. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below, give the thumbs up, share the video. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.